Well then, we shall begin.
Yes.
Hello and welcome to episode number 4 of the Ohio Nation podcast. Today we have me, Fargo. I'm here. And we also have Ghuntz.
Hello.
Hey.
And then our good Sweeterino Herpus.
How am I the Sweeterino? What are you gonna call Wada when he comes back on?
I was gonna say you're the Sweeterino
God
just
Emperor.
just because he's at camp.
summer camp.
Yeah. So
Yeah. What happens when he comes back?
you're gonna get ousted.
Whatever.
Someone has to be
do it.
Sweeterino too.
Next.
Next, we have Ash.
Hello.
Hello.
And today
All right.
is Sunday.
Today.
Isn't that great?
Oh
What
my
a wonderful
god.
time to be alive.
Amazing.
And sane.
Okay. What do we have on the agenda for today?
Today we have on the agenda determinism. It's a lot
Amazing.
bit more serious than what we've typically talked about, for sure.
Yeah, I wasn't on. I haven't listened to the last two. What were the topics of the last two? Just out of curiosity, for some
There were
for some
no
good old
topics.
perspective on determinism.
There were no topics.
So So episode 2 we talked about Spider-Man and anime.
Oh,
Yes.
that's the one I
And
should
then
have
in
been on.
episode 3 we constantly bickered about a bunch of dumb shit until
Yeah,
we all
pretty
got
much.
tired.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Like any good podcast.
Boom, boom.
Okay, yeah. So it is a rather weighty topic.
And in addition to all the weightiness of today, we also get to potentially hear my mother standing in the background because it's
I heard a bit
coming
here
up
and there.
pretty fucking well on my end.
Yeah. But it's nice. It just adds to the atmosphere. you
Yeah,
know?
it's
guess.
ambience, ambiance.
I already have a bit of ambience on in the background, but this is just extra ambience. It's like a bit of salt on top of it,
Oh, yeah.
Hopefully, with some audio magic, I can get most of this removed.
Nah.
Removed.
Otherwise, this
In
will
fact-
be the worst one yet.
No, there's no way it's worse than episode 3, dude. Episode 3 was a fucking train wreck.
It kind of was.
Like, it was a train wreck because we just kept... let's not keep on talking about episode 3. Fuck it. All right, we were going to talk about determinism. So, what is determinism for all those folks who don't actually know what it is?
So determinism is the belief that it's basically that free will does not exist, that everything that you are going to do in life has already been laid out and that you are merely following a script.
All right.
That's really all it is. I
I'm
can
very-
I can go first on this because I just
Sure. Go ahead.
Sure. I mean, I have a couple questions, but maybe you'll answer.
Sure.
Okay, so the thing is with determinism is I think that it's a spin-off of religion, because religion is kind of like this in a lot of ways, right? That specifically like the Judeo, whatever the fuck it is, like the
Christian.
the Christian religions have an element of determinism in them, because it's comforting, right? It to know that you're kind of not culpable for the shit that happens in your life, right? That if it was going to happen anyway, then you're not as distressed, right? That's the appeal of religion. And
Isn't that one of the major plot points in the Jesus story arc?
in what way?
No, he goes on about all of this, that he knows everything that's going to happen.
Like he knows that he's going to get sentenced to death,
crucified. He knows that Judas is going to going to betray him.
Yeah,
Peter's going to
he
kidnap
knows
him, all that
he
stuff.
knows well beforehand that Judas is going to betray him and all that sort of stuff. So there isn't an element to religion that's very couched in determinism, and I think that determinism has started to gain ground and people talk about it a lot more, simply because as we move into a society where religion means less and less and people don't subscribe to it nearly as much, that the thing is that you still have a subset of people that want to have that comfort that religion provides. And so you just give it a fancy philosophical name and it's essentially the same thing, right? It serves the same function.
Now, I have a couple questions. Now, is this determinism only affecting the individual, or is it affecting everything around it, like the world itself?
I'm pretty sure it's like the whole world, because like determinism applies to all
Yeah, it's
people.
all world.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's a...
Isn't it?
What?
Isn't it the theory that it's like the Laplace demon? And I'm being a fucking weeb or whatever, but it's the whole thing that if you know, like, if you can map out the movement of every atom in the universe, you can accurately predict the future.
Yeah.
It's like
effectively.
Yeah, it's like a science experiment.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you knew like all of the laws, all of the rules, you would be able to tell the future because you just calculate it.
Yeah, effectively.
Yeah.
I think it's a crock of bullshit, personally.
I mean,
I
if
agree.
you're not religious,
I think it's really fucking silly.
I think that there is an element of determinism in terms of like natural order, right? Like, because I do think that, if, that science has sort of shown us that, if you do this thing, resulting thing will happen, right? Within the natural world. That makes sense, right? I get that.
See,
but
that's more the angle that I was thinking of, more biological, as in, you're a slave to your desires or to your human.
Yeah, but the thing is that as a human, you that follows the logic that humans are just animals, right? And
Which I would agree with.
But we're not, because we have the express ability to resist desire, to not do whatever we want.
Is that the determining factor that separates us from animals?
I think it is. That ability to say no to what you want.
See, I would just
to
argue
act
that...
in the...
Go ahead.
To act in the interest of, planning, to be able to know for a fact that if you do this thing now, it will not be good for you in the future. Or if I do this thing now, that is not good for everybody else around me. It's bad for my family. It's bad for my friends. It's bad for my community, my society.
See, I'd argue that that's just the consequence of our evolved brains, not necessarily any kind of... Like, we just evolved our brains in a way that separated us from the rest in that way, but we're still biological creatures,
Okay, so you hear a lot of the science of like people, we know what goes off in someone's brain, like the hormones and the the impulses released inside the body when we want to do something or we want to acquire something, right? We have measured those responses. And you hear that talked about a lot when it comes to determinism. That's like one of their big talking points, is that, the human body and the human brain is, predictable in that way. But you never hear anybody talk about what sort of things go on in the brain and the body when somebody wants something and then rejects it.
There are probably other factors which are also driven by desire that counteract that. Desire to stay away from a situation, or fear, or morality, which that is something I would argue is separate from, the animal kingdom. But I think that's a different conversation.
Well, I mean, that's my point, right? That as humans, our ability to say, no, I'm not going to do that, even though everything in my body is telling me to do it, right? That separates us from animals, and that by extension, our ability to reject nature consciously means that there's determinism doesn't make any sense in that context, right? Because if you're just following a script, then you shouldn't be able to resist something that your body's telling you to do.
Now, are there examples of other species doing this?
I mean, yeah, there are examples of that. Just take what was it? Is Pavlov's dog? It's just conditioning, isn't it?
Well, see, you can condition animals, but at that point, right? It's not okay. So in that case, I think of it as training, right? The dog or the animal in question is not rejecting it, rejecting a natural behavior out of a thought process involved with regards to other things, right? They are rejecting that behavior specifically because they have been trained to know that another specific punishment or reward follows the behavior, right?
See, but couldn't you apply that to humans as well?
Yeah, you could very easily apply that to humans.
Yeah, depending on their upbringing.
Because humans just go through a lot of training.
Okay,
when they're
yeah, but
children.
I'm going to simplify it down real far, right? Because on like a broad scale, it would seem to make sense, right? Like people don't, go out and literally fuck every other possible human on the planet because, that's there's disease involved that you're thinking about. There's, the consent of the other person involved that you're thinking of. There's so many other factors.
All of this is indoctrinated in you when you're in school.
Yeah, exactly, right? So on a large scale, arguing for determinism makes sense because you can just say, well, it's just, conditioning. But like,
yeah,
let's get down to like really small stuff, right? Like the food you ate for dinner last night. What made you choose one thing over the other? What made you?
Because it was in the fridge.
Yeah, no shit.
Because it was cheaper.
No, I'm saying like you have two options for food, right? They are both equally healthy.
Sure.
They both cost the same, right? Let us throw out any and all variables related to living, right? With regards to these things. The only difference between them is that one tastes different than another, or one has a different texture than another. Now you like them both, right? What makes you choose one over the other?
Most likely, the experiences I have with that specific taste that made me prefer it over the other.
Okay, no, I'm saying like you like them both equally.
Yeah, but I like one more.
Yeah,
than the
exactly.
other.
Exactly. You prefer one over the other, right?
But that is due to something that happened.
Barring all other external factors, right? You make a choice for one over the other, which means
like that has an origin point, a point where
my choice would
chooses and develops a taste one over the other, and you can ground that in reality, like because of the fact that I ate it prior to the other one, or because of the like taste and all that has to do with how you grew up and how the exterior world affected you.
See, because
even if everything's the same, there's a differentiation enough with the two things that you're choosing that you're gonna have more of a preference over one because of something you went through.
So I don't think so. Because like if I have a good pizza on one hand and I got a good chicken sandwich on the other hand, right? There is no possible way that my brain is able to quantify and list off and judge every positive and negative experience that I have ever had related to a pizza and related to a chicken sandwich.
Because that's not how it works. It's subconscious.
Yeah.
You're not going to think of every time you've eaten.
No, but I don't even think
sandwich.
that the human brain is capable of storing that much data at all.
Because the data that you store is not all conscious.
No, I know it's not. I'm talking. I know what you're saying. I'm talking about subconscious information. Even then, I don't think that because like how many? Okay, think back, right? How many of your day-to-day actions and decisions are informed, you think, by things that happened to you when you were 5 or 3?
Bits and pieces.
I mean,
not that
not
basically
that much.
none, right?
Yeah.
You are far more likely.
It's such a loaded question.
You are far more likely to make decisions and choices based on probably like vast majority, probably like 10, 15 years of experience, right?
Yeah.
And disregard the rest, right?
I don't know about disregard the rest.
No, I mean not disregard the rest. I'm just saying that like your frame of reference is like the past 10 to 15 years, probably, right?
You could argue for the most part, but still, there are elements of lower than that, of a younger age that will affect you.
Yeah, but not on any appreciable level.
That I would very much disagree with. There are
yes,
things that can
okay,
happen.
of course there are outliers.
Of course,
yes,
yeah, exactly.
Obviously.
not even outliers. I'd say that most people have these. I'd say that most people have, things that happened during their childhood, which they may or might not remember due to trauma, due to just simply forgetting, that affects how they
I get that, but what I'm saying is that data, right, those experiences, the subconscious influence that they exert over you diminishes to such a degree over the course of your life. Like, if you experience trauma when you're 5, right, that subconscious internalization of that, right, is going to affect you for like 10, 15 years. But the thing is that you are going to experience so many other things over the course of that 10 to 15 years that 20 to 30 years down the line, all of the context for that original trauma has been replaced by the context of more recent memory and subconscious internalization. It's constantly getting modified. Yes, one informs the other, but at a certain point, it doesn't do it at an appreciable level anymore, and it's more like a building block type thing, right?
See, but there are so many examples of, like, the opposite.
What do you mean by building block thing?
So, okay, so for example, like, it's kind of like a Jenga tower, right?
Yeah.
If you have a Jenga tower and you pull out one of the blocks from the bottom, nothing is going to happen to the top. Nothing, right?
Sure.
It's and you can actually get a Jenga tower to sit on like one block at the very bottom of it if you're good.
Yeah,
just one. Yeah, the center block, right? Just one. You can take the other two away. What I'm saying is that it's a building block thing in that if you were to look at the whole Jenga tower, right, you're not concerned with the fact that it only has one block holding it up at the very bottom. What you are more interested in the fact that it's there at all. You know what I mean?
Okay, but if you're using this analogy, you could also argue the opposite. That because, like, say you're balancing the Jenga tower on the center block, that's going to affect the balance of the Jenga tower, which is going to affect, like, if you pull something off from the top, it's going to affect the top blocks anyway, regardless of how much you can see it.
But as you go up, as you go up through the tower, it's going to have less and less of an effect, right? Because the very top block has the entire rest of the tower that it's sitting on.
Okay, I think this analogy is a little confusing.
This is probably a bad analogy.
Yeah, but I get your
point. Yeah, I'm starting to lose it.
Yeah, it's getting a bit far into the analogy where I'm kind of using the place of where we were.
Yeah. No, so basically I don't think determinism...
Let me see this real quick. So let me take an example. You're young, you're like 3 years old, maybe 2 years old. You touch a plate, like you touch one of those oven plates, right?
Yeah.
Like the things on the top of the oven. You burn your hands, you say, fuck. You never do it again. You learn that as just a core thing. You forget the circumstance, but you keep that whole, like, I should not touch the top of an oven because shit's hot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So is that kind of what you mean by the Jenga thing? Like you take away the less important parts, like your memory of touching the oven plate, but you keep the lesson of don't touch the oven plate?
Yeah, exactly. Right? Like all of the surrounding material that goes with that first, like, informative learning process goes away. The only thing that you're left with is the applicable part.
Yeah. How does this, like, counter determinism?
Well, okay, so what I'm getting at with that is that if things are deterministic, right? Yeah. Then how do you factor in the fact that a person can reject something that is encouraged sometimes and not encouraged other times? Like if you have something that has equal possibility.
Give me an example.
Okay.
Give me an example.
Okay. Okay, here's a good one, right?
All right.
You're in your house, right?
Sure.
You have some candles, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is your house does not smell bad, right?
Sure.
You don't need the scent. Okay? The candle doesn't give off a scent that you have ever experienced in your life, right?
Yes.
So it's not tied to memory, like there's no, sort of mimetic.
There's no nostalgia value for it. Yeah.
No nostalgic value to it. It's not wintertime. It's not a big candle. It's not going to keep you warm or anything. There's literally no value to be gained in whether or not you choose to light that candle or not. Determinism says that you will or you won't, right? And that the choice that you are about to make regarding that candle has been predetermined.
Yes. I mean,
show me how.
Would you
I'm
say?
just gonna-
Okay. Would you?
I'm
say
just
that-
gonna. I'm just.
Show me how.
I mean, it's pretty easy because you've already bought the candle. Why would you not light it?
Let's say you have 50 other candles in the house. Because this is where I have the problem with determinism, right? Because as soon as
if that's the case, then like I can just give you percents at this point because like yes, if you have 50 other candles in your house and all of them are separate different candles, chances are you won't light them because you're a hoarder and you just collect stuff and never actually use them. That's very easy.
I don't know if that's where it was going.
Okay,
but,
wait. Let me.
Probably not, but you get what I'm going at, though, right? There's definitely things that can factor into this.
Okay, so let me
Like,
modify it.
especially like
Let me modify it again.
Sure.
Right. Let's say that you're over at a friend's house. All the same conditions apply. Do you not light it?
probably not because it's a friend's house. It depends on how you are as a person, and you can easily see that like due to previous acts. How are you as a person? Would this person spontaneously say, "Hey, I want to light a candle"? Has he lit multiple candles? Does he usually use candles? I don't know. I think there's definitely like factors that you can take into account for this equation, for this.
See, I don't
Fact,
think
I
so.
guess.
I think that the human.
I mean, yeah, sure, but I very much think that at least for this one, yes. Like for me, I think it's more moral questions that are more in question than actual physical
But the thing
acts.
about moral questions, though, is that they are those are socially informed, right?
I mean, they're socially informed. They're also but at the same time, like they are also somewhat more. What's the word for it? Like if you the whole you see a kitten on the road, do you help it? I feel like that's a bit harder to just judge, like due to the person's past actions or past experiences.
Possibly.
Rather than
You say it's
rather than
harder
just like.
to judge. What do you mean with that?
I think it's hard. Yeah, I think it's harder to judge if, like, say we take person A. Person A sees a cat on the side of the road. Cat looks hurt. Does person A help cat or not help cat? I feel like that is a harder question to judge than does person A light a candle.
Sure. But I mean,
Well,
I still.
I feel like-
at the end of the day, I think that the human capacity to reject the the logical natural order of things just puts a huge hole in determinism.
I think the real question
Because
we should be
even
asking-
if it is the hardest thing in the world for me to do, I can say no.
See, I think the real question we should be asking is determinism inherently negative?
You're cutting out.
What are you saying?
Oh.
Yeah, you're gonna.
What I should be asking is determinism inherently negative?
Yes.
Ooh,
Why would you say
That's
that?
a good question.
Then okay, because if determinism exists, right?
Let's hypothetically
to me.
argue that. Yes.
All right. Then why the fuck do I, why
So
the fuck do I try?
essentially what you're saying is if determinism exists, there's no purpose for being alive because you have no control over it.
Yes.
But you do.
No, see, because that's the thing, because I value my sense of free will to a degree that if determinism was real, I know that, like, if there was a provable way to tell me that determinism is how the world operates, you probably wouldn't tell me that because I'd probably kill myself. I wouldn't. No, I mean, like, I honest to God, I probably wouldn't last that long, because then there's no way of thinking that you might have a shot at making it.
But like, no, that's
under your own power.
That's not what I'm saying. Like, why can't you have both? Is essentially what I'm saying. Why can't you have all your thoughts and personality and existence be determined by your experience, but also have the free will to choose between the things that influenced you to make decisions in the future? All that stuff that you experienced affects you inherently, but you have the free will to take them into consideration or not.
Oh fuck, Ghuntz, you're cutting off every other second, please.
Sorry. I'm gonna say that.
Put it on push to talk.
Sorry.
I'm really sad because this sounds really interesting, but
okay, I'm gonna get closer.
Hearing half of it.
What I'm saying essentially is,
yes,
that you have both. You have all the things that affected your life, all the experiences that you didn't have any control over, which affected your personality and how you see the world and decisions. But you also have the free will to look back on them and make decisions based on that.
That's not determinism. That's not determinism.
But that's how, like...
No, arguing that free will exists is not determinism. Determinism, no free will exists. That no matter...
So they're mutually exclusive is what you're saying?
Yes. Yes, they are.
Sorry, that sounds retarded.
What, determinism under that light?
Yeah, they have to be mutually exclusive. Why is that the case? Determinism establishes that you have no control. Speaking biologically, that you have no control over your actions because of what you've gone through. But that's clearly not the case, because you can consider what you've gone through and make decisions based on that, which may or may not.
Determinism basically just says that no matter how many. Determinism basically says that no matter what has happened to you and how long you think about it and how much thought you put into something, that you will always arrive at the same conclusion no matter what. That no matter how many options seem to exist to you personally, you will always make the same decision. That it's been laid out.
The same decision to what?
Any decision. If you're presented with a choice, determinism says that no matter what information that you have access to, be it your prior experiences, facts about the world, doesn't matter. However much information you have access to, every single time you will make the same decision.
Okay, if you put it under that light, I definitely disagree with it, but it just seems too nuanced to ever...
I don't think that's
feasible...
quite right. No, that's not right.
No.
Determinism is a philosophical belief that all events are determined completely by previously existing causes.
Which is where you went into the religious element or aspect of it.
Yeah.
See, but I've heard the biological argument. The religious one I don't agree with, absolutely. Because, I don't believe in, an intelligent designer. But the biological one, yeah. I guess it's just a different conversation.
But at the same time, I still think that, like, the human capacity, like, the fact that we have free will, which I do think we have, the ability to override, like, the ability to consciously override a biological impulse makes it so that I don't think that determinism is a thing.
I mean,
under every...
Gone through this.
What?
We've gone through this, though. Like, why wouldn't that not just be conditioning? How is that not just human conditioning? The same thing you do to dogs. The same thing you do, the thing you do to kids. It's just discipline. You discipline yourself so that you don't fall to base acts. How is that different from discipline?
I'm not just talking about base acts. Again, it could be. It's something as simple as a choice between two pieces of food. Right, like the fact that we can make a decision outside of what what our bodies do or don't need, right? To me, just like okay,
You mean like personal taste? You
staying
mean like
up-
personal taste?
What?
You mean like personal taste?
No, okay, like let's say staying up super late, right?
Yeah.
Your body will invariably, as a fact of biology, try to get you to go to sleep, right?
Sure.
But you, as a human being, have the ability to not do that. You can choose to stay awake. Now, at a certain point, the body will just shut down, right? Just as a matter of biology, that's inescapable, right? But the choice that you can exercise over your biological need for something, to me, just points to the fact that determinism isn't a thing. Because like animals don't force themselves to stay up for no reason, right? If an animal stays up past when it, when the normal cycle would insist that it go to sleep, it's because it's like trying to get hunted or, it's diseased or something, right? It doesn't just, animals don't just,
or it's like you're protecting his kids, whatever. Yes, something like that.
Yeah, animals don't just decide to stay up longer than they need to, or than they.
I mean, sure, but you could also argue that humans just decide to stay up longer than they need to because they want to do something. They feel the need to stay up and do X factor.
Yeah, but it's not biologically informed. That is a choice that you have made.
Maybe they just really need to.
But it's also because it's also based on experience and like it's an endorphins that are released in the brain. Is that not biological?
Yeah, as a byproduct, but not as a motivator for the action.
No, is it not?
No.
It's the main. Look. It's an experience. You stay up. You get those endorphins because you are on the internet, and you stay up longer to be on the internet. It is a drive to be on the internet. It is a need to be on the internet. You stay up because you have that free time, that quiet time at night. Nobody's going to disturb you, and poof, you're just on the internet, and you get that steady flow of endorphins.
Yeah, but after a while, like we've also shown that after a while, even just one time, right? I'm not talking about like a habit forming thing, but over time, endorphins, the effect wears off, and you can still push yourself past that.
Yes, because the experience lingers. You know that it's the whole fucking Pavlov thing.
Yeah, but if the experience lingering has absolutely nothing to do with biology, because at a certain point, the endorphin rush ceases to actually have a measurable effect on your psyche. So
yes. However, your experience, your memory serves.
Yeah, but
staying up, release endorphins before.
Yeah, no, I'm talking within one session, right? Because what you're talking about is repeated use, a habit forming thing, which I agree with. That is why people form habits, is because of endorphin rushes. I'm saying in a single point, in a single first time experience with something, right? The endorphin rush will go away eventually, but you as a person, with free will, still have the ability to continue to not just stop doing the thing after the endorphin rush went away because that's all you were going for, right?
No, I don't get it.
Because what you're saying is that the reason people do things is because of biologically measurable things that happen in their body that make them feel good, right?
Yes.
Okay, so barring that, i.e. once the feel-good thing that happens inside your body is null and void, you can still continue to do the thing to a detrimental end to your body.
Yeah.
You are exercising free will. You are overriding a biological impulse to do a thing. If you stay up really late at night...
I'm pretty sure that this is going to go on forever.
Yeah, it probably will, because I just don't believe in determinism.
No.
I don't know.
I don't think... Yeah. I don't know. I don't think you... This doesn't really feel that convincing. Because it's still the same thing. Why would you stay up then? Is it just because of free will? No, there's a reason you are going to stay up.
I do not think that science and the human body and biology can account for every single action that a human makes.
Of course not. That's why Laplace's demon is a fictional being that does this, that actually calculates all this shit. How? No, because it's fictional. But that's the idea, that if you could do all of this thing, if you could count and calculate all of this, then yes, then you could predict the future, predict every single thing that's going to happen.
Yeah, because I don't think
that
humans fall into that paradigm.
Yes, I don't think that it's going to be possible.
No, I'm not even talking.
Science is going to be able to.
I'm not even talking about whether or not it is or isn't possible, because obviously that it is impossible. I'm saying that under the paradigm.
There you go. Okay.
What?
No, keep going.
Okay. Under the paradigm of supposing that to be possible, right? Or not even possible. Supposing that were you to reach that point, that you could do that, right? I don't think that humans fit into a paradigm in which they could be predicted if it were possible to predict them. That is what makes us unique. That we are chaotic creatures. We are unpredictable.
I would not agree with that, honestly.
Oh.
And again, I'm not saying this is all falling under the assumption that predictability is somehow bad. I think that aspect of it, you have a problem with yourself. You find the idea that people are subject to their desires or biological impulses is a bad thing. And that's fine. You can have that opinion. I'm not disputing that. But I would argue that that's the case. I would believe that that's the case. I have not yet been convinced that whatever this determinism, the non-religious determinism, isn't a thing yet. That's all I'm saying.
So you're agnostic is more or less what you're saying?
I mean, at the end of the day, how much knowledge do we really have about things that are metaphysical? Not
Close
much.
to none. It's all theories. So yeah. Dude, that's probably the safest way.
Yeah. At least for me.
Yeah, but Ash, how are we not insanely predictable? How are we not being manipulated even now?
Oh, no.
Throughout everything.
No.
Is that not the same?
No.
How are we highly chaotic?
No. I'm not saying that we cannot be manipulated, and I'm not saying that people can't be predicted, right? I'm saying that on a moment-to-moment basis, there is no way to predict what a person will or will not do. Right, over a long span of time.
I mean, you could
there are ways. There are observable ways to manipulate people to create a specific action, right? But the way that you're doing that is only based on prior knowledge of it has worked before, so it probably will work again. Not it will 100% of the time work again on every single human being in the world.
Yes, but Ash, this is because you don't know every single thing that has happened to that person before. If you had the knowledge of all experiences, all thoughts of said person, would you not have a near 100% chance of knowing what that person is going to do in the next moment?
So you just said near 100% chance.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would get real damn close, but you wouldn't be perfect. Even if you had all the information at your disposal. I don't think.
Sure.
Right? You could have every bit of knowledge. You could literally have a video recording every single moment of that person's life. You could have all of the information of
I think something more important than that is just an actual inner monologue of that person's thoughts, of that person's psyche.
Yeah, but I mean, my point is you can you had everything, right? Mm-hmm. You could probably, within reason, manipulate them to do damn near everything you wanted, right? But not only could you not guarantee that they would do it the exact way that you thought they would, but there would be instances where they didn't do what you wanted them to do. That's
for what? Why?
Because we are chaotic. Because we are not predictable.
How did
We are not 100%.
predictable?
We are not 100% predictable.
I'd argue that's relative. Some people.
No, I think we've argued our parts.
What?
I think we've argued our points. I think we can just keep
Yeah,
going.
we've
at
been
this
talking
point.
about this for 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Maybe we can see if we can switch to a topic that I might be able to have a bit more input on.
Fargo, the two podcasts this one and the last one, your job was to introduce the podcast, introduce topics, and basically do nothing else. You are fulfilling your role.
Amazing.
Wow.
He's got you there.
Well,
Oh,
I guess I've been doing my job fairly well at that, if that's my
Good
job.
You're like a presidential debate fucking moderator.
I've been opener.
Yeah, you're the moderator, right? You present the thing and then just kind of sit back and don't do anything until it's time to do the next thing.
I guess I'd like to be a bit more interactive. It's just I have a hard time like cutting in, and even when I want to cut in, I don't really think I have that much to say. Because I feel like everyone else.
Let's say whatever's on your mind.
Yeah.
I guess, but
What's the next topic?
what's the next topic? We wanted to talk about energy drinks. What do you have to say about energy drinks?
Oh God.
I know it was
Oh,
a
boy.
long time ago.
All right.
Here, I'll start. I'll start you off. It's really easy. Energy drinks taste like sugar, and they're shit. There you go. Your turn.
Oh, okay. That's a very simple. You don't have any long and storied history with energy
No.
drinks?
No, I don't drink energy drinks. That's about
Okay.
it.
No.
honestly, same here.
Oh,
Yeah.
so I'm the only one with a long and storied history
It's
of energy.
time for your fucking what was it? What the fuck is it called? Monologue. There you go. It's time for your monologue again. Here you go.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay.
Handing the mic to you because we can't find any other topic.
I mean, I have a
And
couple,
everybody
but I'm waiting
knows-
for everything else.
And everybody knows that.
All right. Hold on. After you keep okay, have your monologue and then we go to Guntz's next topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Unless Fargo also wants to talk about it.
I might have something to chip in for energy drinks, but we'll go with that first.
Okay. So
All right.
I didn't even really know what energy drinks were before I was 19. It was one of those things where like you see Red Bull commercials on TV, but you don't really understand what exactly it is. I had no idea what energy drinks were. I didn't understand there was like a lot of them. I didn't understand that there was a culture around them. None of that, right? And then I went to boot camp in the Navy.
How the fuck?
What?
How the fuck do you get energy drinks in the boot camp?
So basically, the way that boot camp works now, at least, you finish like a week and a half. Like you basically go through like the final, the final trial and tribulation, like a week and a half before you actually graduate out. The reason that you do that,
How many weeks would you be in?
it's like 2 months long.
What? It's only 2 months?
Yeah. Oh, because
That's
you also,
fucked.
because you also have to think that most of the conditioning and like the training and stuff happens in the school that you go to for your job, right? The boot camp.
I guess.
No. I mean, it really it.
Sure. Like, fuck it. We're getting off topic. Go. Keep on going with your story.
Okay. Just real quick. Boot camp essentially, as far as I can tell, having been through it once and like having seen how the naval industrial complex works, I really think that boot camp is literally just a holding cell while they get all your paperwork put together. And very little aside from that. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors, I think. Anyway, but because you basically are done like a week and a half before you graduate out, there's a little shop that you can go to once you're, just waiting to get graduated out. And bear in mind, you have been 2 months with literally none of the, amenities provided by civilized life. And because it also functions as like a regular Navy exchange, like a Navy store that you see on most bases, it has stuff in there for like all of the non-recruit type guys, like all the people that actually work there. So it, of course, has lots of energy drinks. And several people had talked about it and gotten them, so that is when I had my first Monster, is in boot camp. And I thought it tasted a little weird, honestly, but not terrible. And from then on, I basically got addicted. Throughout the entirety of being in the Navy, it was not uncommon to have 2 or 3 Monsters a day. Trying all of the different flavors, keeping up with like what new flavors were out, trying to find them, getting excited when you would go into a gas station and see that there was a new flavor there. It really and the reason that you would like, obviously there was the addiction factor to like the caffeine rush, but really like you needed it because the schooling and like the just like even after that, like just the work demand in the Navy just kind of burns you dry. Like if you don't have that stuff to just keep you from checking the fuck out mentally, you're not going to make it.
I wonder if it works a bit like cigarettes, but since you can't smoke underwater, you just use energy drinks instead.
No, for
because okay.
For guys on the boat, the replacement to cigarettes is dip.
Is what?
Dip.
What's a dip?
What's
a dip?
Oh, a dip. You guys don't have dip?
Like chewing tobacco?
I know what it is.
Okay, it's not chewing tobacco.
Okay.
It's not snuff.
It's actually it's snus. But snuff, whatever the fuck you call it, right? But it like over in Europe, because when we went over there, we found it. Over in Europe, you guys have it in pouches.
Yeah.
Right, that you put in your lip.
Yeah.
In the States, it comes. You can get it in pouches, but the more common way to
but
get
usually
it is
it's just powder. Like wet powder.
It's not powder. It's like shredded, like very, 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 very finely shredded tobacco.
Yeah,
it's almost
snuff.
like
I know.
You know that the fucking powder that's in the bottom of like a cereal bag.
Like, I mean, yeah, I guess, yeah.
Like cornmeal, right?
Yeah.
Imagine cornmeal, but wet.
Yeah, I know what snuff is.
Okay.
I just didn't realize when you call it dip.
Yeah, it's called dip. That's what they do on the boat. In replacement of cigarettes for most of the guys.
Do they also drink energy drinks?
Oh, yeah, most everybody does.
Right.
People would.
Because I do think
when you would go like underway or when we went on deployment, you had guys that would take entire lockers in the engine room that weren't being used for anything and just stuff them full of energy drinks.
Jesus Christ.
Right, and
I'd assume.
And every single time that we hit a port, you would have one guy that'd be walking back with another guy carrying like the biggest pack of them, like 3 packs of them, just to last. I don't drink energy drinks anymore. Can we have a round of applause?
No.
No? Oh, wow.
I'll give you the tiniest.
I'll give you one.
It was because on deployment I didn't stock any. Yeah, it was rough the first week and a half. Not.
You didn't ask him spare sippy?
No.
Spare monster.
Nope.
Spare a monster, please.
Nope. I got on.
Give you some damn good anime.
No, I just started drinking coffee instead.
See, for me, when I tried,
because I still need the caffeine, right? But energy drinks, dude. The worst crime is not like how bad they are for you, right? Because like people put tons of shit that's bad for them in their bodies, so I don't care about that, right? The thing is they're fucking expensive, dude.
They're kind of expensive, yeah.
They're pricey.
Like, how much are we talking?
Well, a Monster's like what, $2.50 a can?
Yeah,
that's expensive.
I guess that can like build up. I mean,
no, that does when you're drinking like 2 or 3 of them a day.
That's true.
Dude, alcohol looks at you and laughs.
Oh, I know it does. I know it does.
Oh, my 2.5 per can is expensive. Please.
Yeah, I know.
Think of my wallet.
Yeah. No,
I just want to say real quick.
So-
it feels like energy drinks are. It's just another vice. Like when I was in the military, you used like was it? A lot of people started up with a vice because they just have a lot of dead time, and the vice included smoking and taking snuff.
Yeah.
Because you just have so much dead time, you need something to do, something to fill your mind, so you just do the vice.
Yeah, you need something to do with your hands.
Especially since you can't. I'm assuming you didn't have access to your mobile phones back then, when you were in boot camp or wherever.
No.
Especially underway as well, because like I guess there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Like you have access to the phone. Like you can bring your phone, obviously, so that when you make a port call, you can go call your your family and friends and stuff. But like, you're hundreds of feet under the water. I don't care what carrier you got. You ain't getting shit signal.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, I mean, not that you have phones when you're like working, but no, it's just like
I do.
the thing is, I have a need for, like, I have the oral fixation problem, right? Where like that's, and I think it's like mild ADHD too, where like I need to have something that I'm doing. Like if I'm watching if I'm listening to a podcast, or I'm like watching an esports broadcast, or like even editing, even though I'm working with my hands, like I need to have something. That's why I vape and I drink coffee. But you don't obviously want to just drink coffee in perpetuity for hours on end, because you'll literally go insane. But so I found out that there is a cheaper alternative. If you're drinking energy drinks for just having something to drink, right? Water is always the better option. But if you like having something with flavor, drink Gatorade, bros.
Oh yeah,
dude, you can get twice. You get twice as much fluid, and those twice as much fluid bottles are like less than $1 at Walmart. It's awesome.
$10 have been deposited into your PayPal account.
Recently.
Can I get like 2 of those dollars, please? I feel like actually no. We have to split that 4 ways, right? Everybody gets like what was that, 2.5 of those dollars?
So what?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I have no. Yeah, I have
no. I mean, we're apparently doing a commercial for Gatorade right now, so I just
want to. No,
how much is paying you?
No, I realized.
Can I get a small cut? Just small cut, please.
Small cut.
Gatorade Ash Vampire.
No, I realized that it was helpful for like the oral fixation of drinking something while I'm not doing anything, and it was significantly cheaper.
Yes. But that's what I mean. Like that's another thing I mean. Like it's just something to do. I guess that's kind of why people just do it underway.
Yeah.
Because it's a vice. It's a thing to do.
Yeah. Exactly.
Meanwhile, I found a great thing to do. I just fucking. Well, I guess I look like a bit of an asshole doing it. I just take out my comb and start combing my hair.
Dude, there were guys that did that.
Seriously.
Dude, I knew at least 3 guys that just had combs in their pockets. There were dudes that were such tools that they went out, and before deployment, no shit, they bought little mustache combs, like those really small mini ones, so they could fucking do tiny little combs of their fucking mustache when they weren't doing anything. It was fucking hilarious.
It sounds good.
They did it fully like aware of what they were doing, because like one of the the guy that got it, there was only one dude that had that, but he had one that was like, it had like a super, like the top of it was like a big handlebar mustache, like that's all the teeth came off of like something that was like this big handlebar mustache piece of plastic, and he just would keep it in front of his mustache while he was combing it, and oh god, it was fucking hilarious. I loved it.
Yes. See? It's a thing.
It is.
It's great. It's just something to do. I bet you that he didn't smoke.
He did dip. But
he did dip, but he didn't smoke.
And he didn't smoke.
I was right. Shut up.
He also didn't smoke.
Well, of course he didn't smoke because he was underway.
Well, no, I mean like even when we were in port, he didn't smoke.
Yeah, but I mean he was doing dip, so you might as well have been smoking. It's pretty much the same thing.
It's actually worse for you.
I know.
Well, no, because like for you guys, when you have when you guys have snuff, right? It's in the pouch, right?
Yeah.
So you're still getting the nicotine
That
and
shit goes
everything, right? But the thing is that with the loose stuff,
Goes down your throat.
no. I mean, they put it in
No?
the same space, right? And they spit. But the mixture actually has fiberglass in it. It makes tiny little incisions in your lip so that the nicotine gets delivered to your bloodstream faster. It's more addictive. And it fucks up your mouth. Yes.
Why on earth would they put fiberglass in those?
To get you addicted faster.
That sounds like a fucked up practice. How does that get through, like, you know,
FDA?
health and safety?
I don't know. I just know that it is a
Aw.
thing.
How do you know that's a thing? If that's really a thing, you'd think that health and safety would also very much know that that's a thing.
Yeah. But it's not considered a food product.
All right, I guess.
Yeah, because you don't swallow it. Yeah.
I mean, apparently, kind of do. Whatever. Are we done with energy drinks? Anything else? Anybody else have anything to say?
I guess I kind of wanted to. Part off to like caffeine, or I guess talk about like. I've never really needed caffeine, never been in the situation where I needed okay, one summer I needed caffeine, but I never really.
Only tried weed once, bro.
Huh? I only
tried
it once.
Okay, but how did you get your caffeine, and like how long did it last, and what did you use it for?
Last summer for like 3 months, I drank Mountain Dew in the morning, just to like keep me awake.
That ain't the same.
It's definitely not.
All right, because the thing is, and this is, if you ever have an energy drink, you'll realize this. Because you crash after having Mountain Dew, right? And that has very little to do with the sugar. It's just the way that the caffeine gets processed in your body. Energy drinks have chemicals in them that basically force your body to process the caffeine slower, so you don't crash. Now, you don't get as much of a rush, right? It's not as heightened, but it's more perpetual. You'll burn it longer. Your body will be alert more, like for a longer period of time, and then you don't crash afterward because it prevents your body from just sucking it up and using it as quickly as possible. That's what you get addicted to. That constant heightened feeling.
Right. So, thankfully, I've never needed to get that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I've tried like having coffee sometimes. Okay, I'm actually fucking stupid because I remember I have tea now in the mornings, so that
nice.
it can wake me up for work.
But tea is very low caffeine though.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I just need enough to like, I don't know, shake me up.
Well, do you eat breakfast?
Yeah.
Yeah, that you could just be getting that wakefulness just from starting your metabolism.
Maybe.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with having a nice cup of tea.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with caffeine inherently either.
Yeah.
No, but like, I mean, it's a good shock because it's warm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever I tried to have like coffee, I was just completely fucking disgusted. Worst shit I ever had.
Look. Coffee is very much an acquired taste.
Yes, absolutely. I remember when I was like,
it's the same with beer and. Would you say cigarettes is also an acquired taste?
Oh yeah, it is. I used to smoke a lot, and yeah.
It's cigarettes and snuff. They're disgusting the first times, but then after a while, you kind of you understand the nuances of this taste, or you just destroy taste buds enough that you actually.
No, I mean,
but that doesn't make sense.
You're 100% right about like the nuance of the taste, like.
Yeah.
Because when I smoked Marlboro Golds. And I knew like if I had to, because there were two versions of the Golds, different tobacco blends, and there was one that I preferred over the other, and I could tell the difference. You know, and if somebody offered me a cigarette and I didn't have any, and I took it, I could tell that it was not the one that I preferred. You know, that it was a different flavor. So,
I see.
Yeah. Ghuntz, what do you have that you want to talk about? I mean, I know I already know what you're going to talk about, but
related to caffeine.
No, I was saying.
No, I think you said
you had another topic before.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I'm going to ask. First of all, has anybody here been involved in a scam? This can be any scam, pyramid scheme, anything related to that.
I have been involved in a scam.
Okay.
I might have been one point, but I can't really recall.
Okay, I'm going to talk about mine first. Yes.
If you count the Navy as a scam, then yes, I have.
No, we don't count the Navy as a scam. At least I don't.
You should.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't had enough personal experience with your Navy to tell.
Yes, I know.
So,
but continue, Ghuntz, please.
Okay. So a couple months ago, this was in probably late April. I was fresh out of college and looking for a job here in the U.S. And since my family lives in Florida, that's in South Florida, that's where I am currently at, and that's where I was trying to find a position of any sort that would take me. Anything related to writing or, copywriting, anything like that. Naturally, since South Florida is a very corporate place, then a lot of the companies that were hiring people was for, sales, marketing, that type of thing. And I was like, okay, yeah, I have some experience in marketing.
Is South Florida really corporatized?
Yes, it is. Actually, very much. Especially the cities. Very corporate. Not especially as like it's say it's almost like a Houston, in a way.
Okay.
Whereas some of the more creative driven cities are like Austin, if you're in Texas, New York, specifically not like Wall Street, but most of New York is creative, and a lot of California as well. So this is a corporate place. But I'm familiar with marketing. I'm familiar with writing advertisements, making them, creating them. So I was like, okay, I can join into that industry. And I applied for a couple positions, had a couple interviews. They went fairly well, and then I had this one. It was for I'm not going to say the company. I'm not going to say anything, but it was for a quote unquote marketing firm. And I went to their website, and they were very vague about what they actually did. They mentioned something about working with clients, something about providing services, and embodying the brands that they work with. And I was like, okay, this seems interesting. This seems good. I'm going to apply to this place.
Did it feel like corporate non-speak? Like a lot lot, but saying not a whole lot, like a lot of corporate bullshit tends to do?
Retroactively, yes. But back then, I never had a job in my life. And I was just like, okay, I applied to these guys, and they got back to me. So I'm going to see where it goes. So I went to the first interview, and it was in the most nondescript office just ever. Like, they didn't have any name of the company there, and it was in like some buttfuck nowhere. And I went there, and I had the interview with the manager of the office, and she was very very excited, very nice. I talked to her about some of the things I was good at, and she said, all right, fair. If you qualify for a second round interview, we're going to talk to you later today, and if so, we'll come back tomorrow. I got called in for the second round interview, where they explained the business to you. And here, now looking back, I realized how much of a fucking idiot I was, and so gullible. but I got pulled into this thing. Because essentially there's tiers. You get promoted through the tiers. You start off as what they call an account executive, right? And they don't explicitly, like they say you're going to be responsible for sales, self-management, and I think PR was something else they said. Systems as well, learning the quote-unquote systems that they teach you to, excel in sales. After that, you get promoted to corporate trainer, which means you recruit people, hire them, train them, stuff like that. Then after that is, assistant manager. You have a whole team under you that you've promoted. Then you get promoted to office manager, where you get your own office. And it's like the way they market this is that by the time you get up there, you have your own business. It's yours. You brought it up from the ground, from nothing. You've hired all the people that work under you, so they all trust you. And you can essentially run it however you want. This is all bullshit.
Oh yeah, that's not how corporate structure works at all.
Correct. But
corporate superstructures are a lot more horizontal than that.
Yes, that's true. Now, what they don't tell you is that you get hired because you're there. Like, if you're competent at all in having a conversation with the person interviewing you, you're hired. Because the turnout rate is so fucking high. 99% of the people who join the business leave within the first week or 2 weeks. Because essentially what you do for the first probably year of
Did
your
you
time
find
in the
that
business,
out beforehand?
No.
Was this something?
No, this is something I found later. I was actually, I'm going to get to that. This is kind of a complicated story. They don't, once you get hired, they call you and tell you that you're hired, celebrate shit like that. Then the next day, oh yeah, by the way, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be knocking on doors for around 9 hours a day, 6 days a week. And we're paid mostly commission. They don't mention that there's a flat rate that you get paid, but if you don't reach the commission standards, you actually don't get paid the flat rate. So you better perform. They don't mention that, so I learned that the hard way. Essentially, that's what you're doing day in, day out. In the morning, you go to the office, and you have what these things are. They're called morning meetings. And this is some shit that's straight out of a cult, because you get into a room called atmosphere, where there's no windows into the outside, there's loud music playing, and and there's chanting involved.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
I am not kidding you.
Dude, had that happened to me, like, I don't care, like, I don't care what they were offering to pay me. I don't care, like, how, like, sound the business model looked. Like, if everything looked fucking clean as shit, and I walked into that, I'd have been like, peace, y'all.
Yeah, no, there's like, we go around in a circle, and we have like, hoots and hollers going around for new people, introducing them. It's also the same thing when we go out into what they call the field, which is just knocking on doors. We round up people who are going on specific car rides, and we, yell out their name, and we give each other a high fives, and like, not kidding. I'm not kidding. Like, this is legitimately what these people do.
Did none of this make you feel strange?
It made total sense to me. And I
Are
think
you serious?
Okay, hold on. It actually, yes, and I'm fully admitting to it, because these people are fucking good at what they do. They've been doing this for 30 years. It's all one company. All these offices that are there, there's hundreds of them all over the US and in the UK as well. And these people use the same techniques that they teach us, the new people, to sell products, are the same ones that they use on us. And these motherfuckers are so good at selling you the business that they'll catch anybody even remotely, like, willing to do anything for money. So of course they're a lot of the people that go in are people fresh out of college with absolutely no work experience, like I did. I had no work experience ever, and this was the first job I was hired for. So I didn't have any standard or any comparative measure as to, to say that this was fucking weird. So I just kept going, I was saying, this job is hard, but these people seem like nice people. I mean, they're all positive all the time. Oh, God. Jesus Christ. Anyway, fast forward 8 weeks, because that's how long I was in the business for. 8 weeks, 6 days a week.
Did you not see a single paycheck?
I did. I definitely did.
Okay, so you were getting paid.
Yeah, I was getting paid. Yes, I was getting paid. But considering the amount of hours I was doing, which is over 70 a week, most likely, I was getting around average $350 a week. Also, I forgot to mention, they don't start paying you until 3 weeks in, and every single payment is 2 weeks delayed. So you get paid on your third week for what you earned on your first week, and then on your fourth week, you get paid on your second week, and so on and so forth. That's how they do it. And
I know exactly why they do that.
Yeah, to incentivize you to keep going.
Well, not just that. They do that so that it's harder for you to connect. It's harder for you to make a one-to-one connection between your performance and the money.
That's very correct. That's correct.
So that you cannot actually measurably improve your.
Oh yeah, they never reveal to you there's no system or portal anywhere where you can see how much you earn. You all have to calculate it by hand.
It's obfuscation.
Mm-hmm. Thankfully, they did pay me when I quit. The 2 weeks that were advanced, so at least they did that. But yeah, what else? Okay, something one of the weirdest things about this business, and you can find more about these guys if you look up Devil Corp on Google. There's a WordPress site called Devil Corp, where people have been documenting this shit for decades. This is not something new. I got linked to this by the wonderful people at Ohaiyo, so thank you for saving my life.
Thank Cappy.
Yes, thank Cappy.
She was the one who found it.
Shit. So, fast forward 8 weeks, I've been promoted. So I'm recruiting people, I'm training people. And one of the weirdest things is that I'm selling them the business, even though I have not yet gotten a single, proper compensation for it. I'm fully into it. I fully believe what my manager says, that you're going to be earning over $150K a month. No, $150K not a month. $150K a year. Sorry, by the first year. They're selling all of this to you. Not only that, but since you're working such long hours, essentially from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed, your mind is in the job. And every single week we have team meetings, what they're calling, where we go out and have drinks with our coworkers. So they incentivize spending time with people in the business. They have this thing called your network is your net worth. So essentially the top 5 people that you interact with, their average income between the 5 of them is going to be yours. So you're encouraged to interact with and befriend people that are higher up in the business than you, so that they can teach you secrets and stuff like that. Also, we work holidays. We work most weekends. In fact, you can come on Sunday if you wish. They actually encourage it. Sunday's a good day to go out, guys. Everyone's home on Sunday, so when you knock on those doors, you're gonna get a better chance of getting somebody. And we have there's these conferences. They're called leader seminars every couple of months, where all the offices in, say, the East Coast. I actually went to one of these in Orlando, probably 2 days before I quit. And yeah, we just take up a whole floor of a hotel, and they pack you into these rooms where people higher up, they teach you secrets about the business, and they full on sell what being rich is. They're like, I was working right where you were. I spent 2 years working in the business, knocking on doors, selling coupons, and look, now I have fucking Lambos and jets and fucking whatever out the wahoo. Look at what you can do. And 99.9% of the people in that room guaranteed never ever are going to see anything remotely close to that. And the people that do manage to get through and get promoted to management, they are still under the thumb of the people above them. There's always somebody above you at every point. Even once you get your own office, which they call your own business, it's not. Because you get paid a certain amount, but out of that coveted $150K a year, about 75 to 80% of that is all kept in a privately owned bank account that you have no control over. So if you decide to quit and take all that money with you, you can't, because you don't technically own it. The company owns it. So yeah. But of course they don't tell you this because they want you to, work for them and put in the hours. And I knew people, I had coworkers who've been in the business for over 2 years at this point, where everything's being taken from them. They've moved out of their, hometown or home city. They now live with their manager. Like, I had one friend who lives in an apartment with 5 other coworkers and the manager. The manager lives there too. And the lease is under the manager's name. So if he decided to leave, he would have nowhere to stay. And he lived in New York, and he left his whole life. He left the job at Wall Street to because they convinced him hard enough that if he just kept working a little more, he was going to be rich. These people are fucking evil, and they're really good at it.
So, okay, here's my question, right? Because obviously this is a pyramid scheme.
Yes.
Right? That it's so fucking obvious that it's fucking...
Oh, yeah, it's fucking ridiculously obvious.
And I always get amazed that, they can even exist because, I mean, obviously you're describing exactly how they exist, but I mean, it always just blows my mind that they do it all. I have 2 big questions. Mm-hmm. Number 1, there is no way that something like this exists for this long without actually being profitable.
It is.
So what the fuck do they actually sell? Like,
so okay, I'll explain that. I actually know how this works. So all these privately owned independent companies, which are just offices, they are all part of what they're called vice presidents, because there's not one person at the top. It's just a couple of really, really powerful people that control all these offices. And they have connections with what they call clients, which are for-profit companies that sell services or products or are charities. So, for example, they work with AT&T, Verizon, Sprint, and other things like that.
So basically, what it is it's a faux advertising firm that is appealing to large profit, like for-profit businesses, because they basically get results for basically no money.
Absolutely,
because of the structure of it, they spend less on their workforce, so they can charge the larger companies less for their advertising services.
Correct, and not only that, but also they don't have any responsibility if something goes wrong. So, say a specific office doesn't perform or does something that endangers the brand, they can just say, "Oh, that's the fault of the office. They're fucked. They're out of business now. We don't work with them anymore." And they blacklist that office from all the other clients that they work with. So essentially, if you fuck up, you're screwed. Because it was never the fault of the client, because you're just an independent contractor that they've hired to promote their brand. That's all they really do. Oh yeah, and like charities are involved with this. The Nature Conservancy is one of them. Doctors Without Borders is another one.
Some of these companies probably have no idea.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because it's all done through a liaison between the company and the offices. The liaison most likely knows how the business works, but the company is just like, oh, free profit, free advertising, brand recognition.
Wow.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. What was the other question you had?
So if it is so obviously a pyramid scheme, How has it not been fucking taken down? Those are literally illegal.
Because,
no, they're not.
What were you going to say, Herpus?
No, I mean, they are illegal. However, since the people working aren't buying products, instead they are selling products, and they're also signing a contract saying they will work for commission, it isn't illegal.
Yes. They actually, in the contract, it says that you're technically not an employee. You're an independent contractor.
So they basically get around it with fancy legal wording.
Correct.
Holy
Also,
dude.
the fact that there's so many offices, and they advertise the fact that when you get promoted to management, you run your own office under your own name and LLC. So it's technically, legally speaking, an independent company. But all of them function. They're all connected to the business. Like, they're all connected to each other.
Yeah,
and
they have no
but
work.
There's no
without
one
them.
name. There's no one name. It's all one company. But they function under hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of names that all change names after a couple months. Once somebody gets promoted, that office changes the name, and the people that were there before move into a different office, and they establish a new name. So it's constantly changing names. There's no way to reliably,
Track it.
Correct, yes.
God damn.
Yeah.
It's super fucked and real scary, but at the same time, whoever built this, like, whoever came up with this idea, whoever, like, started it, what a fucking mad scientist, dude. What a, like, the amount
I know
like,
all their names, by the way. I know all the people that are up there.
Like, so...
Oh, yeah, I know who they are. I know who they are. I've shaken hands with them.
The head honchos.
Yes, absolutely.
The ones at the top of the pyramid scheme.
Yes, because they are celebrities within our industry. Remember those leadership seminars that I was talking about?
Yeah.
They go there. They're the ones that present.
Oh my god, those motherfuckers are brilliant.
And you can, like, if you Google,
super fucked. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, but they know how to
brilliant.
game the system.
They're brilliant.
They have no Wikipedia pages about them. The business has nothing like that.
Well, how could it? How could it?
And you can't find it. It's all within the business.
How would it have the Wikipedia page? If what you said is true, that the name constantly changes, of course there wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm. If you look up the top guy, the absolute top guy, the most famous and popular guy, you will not find information about him other than, like, how he's a public speaker and maybe like a LinkedIn page, but no actual information that has been documented about him exists.
Is it not possible to file a class action lawsuit against these people?
Fuck yeah, people have tried, but these people have so much money. They're just gonna keep, what's the word?
They've probably won that battle multiple times already.
Like they keep fighting until you run out of money, because they won't.
That's true, I guess.
So it's essentially worthless to do so. It's the only way to fight these people is to, like, make it known that they exist, affect their business. So, affect their business indirectly, or do it in a way where you can't be.
The only way to sue them would be you'd have to get, like, hundreds of thousands of people that have been affected on board.
And,
like, make it a suit that is not just one person.
Correct.
You would have to do something. I mean, man, it makes me really mad that they can just do it legally, because, like, if it were actually like really shady and, like, the problem is that they've perfected their legalese, right? So you can't go after them on criminal charges.
That's correct. They technically follow labor laws, even though sometimes when an office doesn't, the office gets shut down and they take no responsibility for it. Yeah.
They have played the system.
Oh yeah, they know it up and down.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, in fact, there's a documentary called The Slave Circle, which I highly, highly recommend. Which is one that I saw with two other people that quit with me. Because I'm going to tell the story of how I found out about this, because that's also really interesting. Cappy, yes, props to her, because she was the one who linked me to the Devilcore page, and I was actually in the field in Orlando after the conference that we had. We were working we weren't knocking doors there. We were in a park interrupting people to see if they would donate to the charity. So it's literally what I was doing. This is something that they trained me to do. I would walk up, like if I would approach someone, I would put my hands out and I'd be like, "Oh hey, don't worry, I'm not here to sell you anything. Do you know about the Nature Conservancy, by the way?" And that's how it would start. And I got so good at it that I had already destroyed like day standards by Tuesday. So I was just like, "Oh shit, this is easy." You know, I am set on this shit. And I just took a break, you know, and I started talking to some of the people here about, you know, how well it was going and all that. Talking about the benefits of it. All of them, you know, taught to me by people above me. And Cappy linked the page, and I was like, come on, this is just some, like, there's not going to be anything in here that's incriminating. And as I read through it, I saw the systems that were taught to me. I saw names that I knew. I saw a picture of my manager. The one I saw every single day was there, her name and her picture. Everything that I knew about the business was in that page. And it just twisted it in a way where it's like, oh, it makes sense. This is fucked. This is a scam. And it like the Matrix kind of like imploded in on itself right then and there.
I was gonna say, did you have like a minor existential crisis?
Yeah, in a bit. I was like, holy shit, am I really here doing this right now? Like, oh my god, I've been doing this for this long and I've not been able to like get that. And my first thought was, how the fuck do I get out of here? Because I wasn't home. I couldn't just like quit. I was in another city.
Yeah. So
I ended up telling the two coworkers that I was at, people that were equal to me or a little bit below me. And I explained them the whole thing. I showed them everything, and we all just decided, fuck it. We're just going to all quit at the spot and just, you know, go back home tonight. Just fuck this. And we were the whole trip. Like, it was us three and one guy who was above us. And, oh, this poor motherfucker, he's been consumed by the business. He's been at it for 2 years. And he's lost entire teams of people because somebody else has gotten promoted before him. So essentially how you get promoted to management is you get a team of 4 people, you promote them all to corporate trainers, and one of them has to promote somebody else to corporate trainer. So once you get that, you have to make a certain amount of money 2 weeks in a row. And once that happens, you get promoted to management. But what they don't tell you is that if one of the people that you promote or some other corporate trainer that is a coworker of yours gets to those standards before you, everything you've done gets taken away. Everything.
You have to start over.
Yep, absolutely. You start over at a new office from scratch. And this guy's been doing this for over 2 years. He's been doing it in Europe. He's been doing it in like EU, then the UK, and now here. He not even like he did in New York, New Jersey, Atlanta, and like he's lost so many people, and he's fully invested. Anything I tried to tell him about, you know, doubts that I had about the business being honest, or you know, questions that I had about, okay, well, like isn't that unfair? And like nothing fazed him. He's completely, and not only that, but he's a total bootlicker and lapdog of his manager, of the woman that I was talking about. Because as soon as I told him that I planned to quit, not 3 minutes after I said that, the manager calls me asking me what's going on. That's when it really like hit me. And I was like, holy shit, these people are so connected that anybody that steps out of line gets chastised and punished for it. And not only that, but she was talking shit behind my back to other coworkers. Like one of the coworkers that ended up quitting with me. She was like, when she called me, she said, "Oh, you know, don't worry. I'm sure we can, you know, discuss this amicably. You know, I really don't want you thinking that we left here with bad, you know, in a bad impression, or, you know, I totally understand. It's just not for you. You know, totally fine. I hope you have a nice, you know, I hope you find a good job that fits you." And then not 15 minutes later, she was shit-talking me to my coworkers, saying he was a bad worker. Why are you following his, you know, his example. He was performing like shit. He was, treating other
even though
coworkers
you
like
were
crap.
even though you had on record like
Even though
performing better.
even though that week I was performing really fucking well. So, and she told me this, my coworker told me this, and that's when I'm like, okay, that cements it. These people are lying out of their ass at all times to try to keep their business afloat, and I'm not going to do it. So I just brought down that whole cabal of people.
Yeah, it's a cult.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's literally what it is.
That's fucking wild, dude.
And one of the things before that kind of tipped me was we're doing one of those morning meetings.
Before Cappy
Before
got you the fuck out.
Mm-hmm. We're doing one of the morning meetings, and there was somebody new. It was their first day, and as soon as we started chanting, you could just see it in her face. She was fucking terrified, confused, and
because
terrified.
she figured it out.
Yeah, immediately. She just there's something deeply, disturbingly wrong about this whole situation. So she just left on the spot. She told the manager, "Look, I don't think this is for me," and she just literally scampered off really quickly. And I was like, "Huh, that's curious. Why would she do that?" Oh God.
And now now retroactively you're like, yeah, no shit.
Yeah. Now I do have even though the whole experience was absolutely abysmal, and I wouldn't want this to happen to anybody, I do have to say it did teach me a lot. Because those work hours alone, and the people you interact with oftentimes are shit, and the systems that they teach you, they can very much be used in other avenues. I learned the value of good work, of
Ironically.
work ethic. Ironically, yes. Like holy shit! Like the fact that I work for these guys 70+ hours a week is telling of how far I'm willing to go for a job. If I can do this,
not just that,
everything
but
else is going to be easy as hell.
Did it not also teach you like where your limit was, like physically and emotionally?
I learned that I almost didn't have one.
Yeah.
Because if you're willing to work over 70 hours a week, 6 days a week, going outside
on a promise
outside on the fucking sun and rain, because you're expected to go out there on the rain too, get a fucking umbrella for this long, and it's hard work because it's all performative. Because every single time you knock on someone's door or you approach someone, it's going to be different, and you have to play around that. You have to find a way to convince them to buy what you're selling, or to sign up, or to donate. All that shit is difficult. And I'm thinking, if I'm able to do that, and I'm able to get promoted and have a good, set good standards within the company, doing this, I'm like, I can do anything. After I quit, I'm like, holy shit, I can. If this is something I was able to do, I can. Everything else is gonna be easy. It's definitely a really harsh lesson, but I appreciate the parts of the business that ended up improving me as a person, and just the whole experience. It's kind of life changing in a way.
Yeah, because now you know that shit's out there.
Yeah, and I wasn't aware of it, and now I am. So yeah,
that's fucking wild, dude.
So that's my story with these people. What else? Who said that they were involved in a scam? I'm curious now.
Me.
I think I want to say that I think I was at some point, but I don't think it was nearly on the scale of which you were.
Yeah.
Since it was so minor, I can't really recall. But I think on some level I was involved with something. I know one time my grandpa got a phone call from a friend of my cousin's who went on a mission trip to Mexico, and somehow they got arrested and they needed him to send them over bail money.
Oh jeez.
Oh boy.
So thankfully he's smart enough to call another family member to find out if this is true, and nothing ever came of it, thankfully.
Nice.
But the most that I am involved in scams now is just getting fucking calls from robots day after fucking day.
You know, there's a code
Well-
you can put in that blocks all incoming scam and spam calls, right?
Is there now?
If you're on T-Mobile, I know which code it is.
Ah, damn.
I think there's others for other providers, but for T-Mobile, if you put in hashtag 662 hashtag and you call that, it's going to give you an option to like block all numbers that would say scam likely or spam likely. Yeah,
Okay.
and it works. I have not received any calls from other people that I don't know after that.
I will have to keep that in mind.
Wait, so you're getting calls from like these robot-like things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Have you tried like saying the Konami code?
Maybe
Hey,
I'll
no,
fuck that
maybe
word.
next time that happens, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you might as well take the opportunity. I mean, you've gone and like exerted the effort to pick up the phone and answer it. Might as well just like try.
Yeah. But like, you're not talking.
And,
if I was talking to a real person, I'd play along.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I'm going to segue into my little what was it? What were we calling these? Hack stories? No, scam stories.
Scam
Yeah.
stories, yes.
Yeah, I had a very similar one to Fargo. It's more or less like a telemarketer, cis Indian guy, and there's this lovely little background noise that just kind of stops after every minute or so, and then like after 3 seconds it replays because they try to mimic that it's an active call center. So they have all of this talking in the background, then after like a minute it just stops and then it replays the same fucking yeah. But at the time you didn't think that. You just thought, oh, okay, he's in a fucking busy thing. Why did you fuck? And they just, I'm calling from Microsoft. I noticed that we just got a report about a very bad attack on your computer. And I said, oh, okay, sure, why not? Microsoft and Mr. Microsoft himself is calling me. And I went downstairs, I checked the computer, I checked all of this dumb shit because I didn't know anything about computers. Thankfully, I tried this on my, like, what was it? How much is 200 crowns? Like my $20 computer, my $20 school computer first. And yeah, he bricked my computer because
Jesus.
I was like, well, I was a crazy kid who just downloaded all of these exe files before because, fucking, it's an exe file. How bad could it be? I downloaded all these other ones and they didn't do jack shit. So yeah, he bricked my computer, and then he was like, "Oh, your virus must have infected computer. To fix, pay us. You must pay to renew your Microsoft service." And I said, "No, fucking fix my bricked computer. This only happened after I downloaded that exe file." He's like, "No, you fucking." He got really mad at me because I said I wasn't gonna pay. He's like, "You fucking millennial! I swear to fucking God, you kids don't know how to fucking do things right." And it's amazing, and they kept
something like I didn't know that this would happen to like more than one person, where like this person who's like calling you and trying to scam you gets mad at you when you tell them that they're liars.
I know.
That's so insane. They like get so immensely defensive. Like this past spring, I got called by a guy who's like obviously trying to fucking scam me, right? Mm-hmm. So I got a call from him the first time, and then like figure, okay, like in the middle of a conversation, I'm like realizing, okay, this guy is like clearly trying to sell me something that is not actually going to help. So I hang up, and then as I'm walking from one building to another, he calls me again, and I'm like, this is the same number, isn't it? So I just fucking canceled the call. I deny the call from going through.
Okay.
And then when I'm having lunch, he calls a fucking third time, and I'm like, how do you not like understand the message that I'm trying to convey? So he calls me again, and I'm saying like, look, I'm not interested. You don't need to just please stop calling me. Then he says, why are you not interested? I'm like, what the fuck?
What?
Okay.
When did this become part of the fucking script? And then, like, when I tell him, I just, like, I'm not interested, I don't need to tell you anything more, then he gets fucking angry. He gets mad.
Yes.
Like, why are you not interested? Tell me why you are not interested. What the fuck is going on? So I just hang up after this like very short back and forth because I'm tired of it.
Okay, so I have a question. Have you ever heard about what you can do when they're in your once they get in your computer? Because I have a fun story about this.
Oh, go on.
Because Herpus, your case is not isolated.
Yeah.
I was in college, and there was a guy that I knew, and who was like the only person that I hung out with at college, and he was a geek, right? Real computer nut, really good, right? That's what he was actually there for. He was going to school for coding and computer science. So I got this call in between classes while we were hanging out, and I realized, like, oh my god, like, nothing has happened. I haven't touched my computer. You know, like, there's no possible way, right? Mm-hmm. And I had been in the middle of a conversation with this guy, and he like asked me, he's like, "Who's on the phone?" And I was like, "Dude, like this guy's trying to brick my computer." And he's like, "Oh, are you serious?" He got real excited, right? Because the EXE in question remotely connects you to them, right?
Yeah.
And he's telling me, he's like, "Hey, you wanna see something cool?" He said, "Give me your computer. Tell him that you'll accept it, right? Tell him you'll accept the EXE to fix your computer, right?" So I put the guy on speaker. He takes my computer, and he opens up like the DOS page.
Oh yes.
And
I think I've read a fucking green text story about this.
No, this have you really?
Yeah, I have. It's great.
Okay, because we accept it, and he sees what is happening, and he just fucking stays ahead of it. Like, he is tracking the changes that it is making to the fucking computer and just stays ahead of it. And you can hear the guy on the other line getting progressively more impatient and frustrated the whole time.
Amazing.
Until the dude hangs up on us. And then my buddy just is like, "Yeah, all you have to do is this," and he does like some funky shit, and he just basically walls it off and then kills it. It was wild. It was so fucking funny. Just like, because it was that kind of thing where it's like somebody getting frustrated, but they're not really sure how to like handle it. So it was just like a lot of sighs and like, you know, like just totally unprepared for this. It was so fucking funny.
Oh boy.
Is that similar to the green text story you've heard?
No, the green text story is way better.
Do tell.
Oh shit.
Go on.
God. Okay.
Shall we make this the last bit of the podcast? I think we go in about 2 hours.
Yeah, it's been pretty long. I don't think I'm gonna be able to tell this story nearly as well.
No, but I want to hear it. So fuck it.
Okay. So this Anam gets one of those calls. It's from it's from one of those places in wherever it is. I don't know. It's probably India. So he gets the call. He downloads the EXE, checks their files. He's getting emails like not an emails. It's the fuck is it called, like MSN.
Okay.
He's getting MSN messages all this time, and then he says like, "All right, lol, you're fucked now," to the other guys, because he gets all of their computers. The other guys are playing along with his charade, like saying, "No, what are you talking about? We just want to give you free shit. All you had to do is download the CXE." Is like, "I see all of your 14 computers. I am now downloading this. I'm now like downloading the CXE. After like I press enter, all 14 of your computers will be bricked. Your operations will be shut down." And they're panicking, and they're saying like, "Oh God, what are you talking about? No, nothing is."
Trying to deny that the entire scam is.
Yes, of course. And he says, "Yeah, lol, bye." And it's just, it's beautiful.
Does the story end with him bricking their computers?
Yeah, of course.
Oh fuck yeah!
He just bricks all 14 of their computers. God, I need to find it. fuck.
It amazes me that scams can exist.
Yes.
You know, that there are enough gullible people and that these companies and these like organizations are run by people legally intelligent enough to do it. That I don't know. It's just
What can you do?
Should be taught about scams in like school.
yeah, like the hallmarks of it.
Where's the internet division of Dare? Come on, guys.
Yeah. Just like the life version of that, you know?
That too.
Well,
You know, for you Ghuntz, like this is what a pyramid scheme looks like, and these are hallmarks of how they operate.
I mean, I've never received
That'd be
any
insanely
kind of-
useful.
I didn't know anything about them, so I fell right in.
I suppose, yeah. If you don't like know anything, but I guess starting with awareness, that's one way to kill it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You know, one thing that surprised me about scams and like scammers overall,
Mm-hmm.
like, how do they learn it? Where do they get it? How do they become proficient enough to lie as well as they do?
Well, it probably starts when they're young and they realize that they can manipulate people and that like they're really good
guess.
liars, right?
Mm.
And then
Yeah.
I think it probably starts as like a result of like acquiring other skills. They realize how they can use their ability to lie convincingly to get around the air quotes hurdles that other normal people have to go through to be successful in a particular field. You know, I think it's like a combination of things, like where they have this one inherent ability, and then by using it a lot, they hone it, and then also by just exposure to new things, they learn how to apply it to those things.
I feel like there's definitely there's definitely knowledge that is shared somehow. I don't know how, but like I feel like there is maybe not a school, but like there is definitely books and shit about this.
Oh, probably.
I guess you could probably just read studies and learn through those studies.
Yeah.
Like,
But I
studies of
don't think that the
scams and how they
people
work.
I don't think that the people running these operations do that. I think it's inherent.
Maybe.
Because you also have to have a proclivity for it. You know? You gotta have a fucking wire cross somewhere where you are morally okay with fucking people over on a consistent basis to make your money.
Yeah. And
I mean, I don't even know if you need a wire cross for that. You probably just have to have like a shitty enough life, or just like I don't know. I mean, is it even a shitty upbringing?
Well, I mean, if you get a shitty upbringing, you'll get a fucking wire crossed because
I guess.
you just assume this is how the world works and that this is morally okay. Yeah. Well, Fargo, would you like to close us out?
well,
Certainly.
I mean,
This is-
I wanted to say one more thing, but
Go ahead.
I was planning on talking about BronyCon, but we've already gone way too long, so this is probably left for another day.
Yeah.
It's like what, 2 hours now?
Yeah, pretty much.
About to hit that mark.
Yep.
150.
So
Well, we can save BronyCon for another time, perhaps.
sure.
Yeah.
I think your pyramid scheme story is certainly wonderful enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you split up the good stories. All
right.
Next week.
That's fair.
Yeah, maybe I'll actually have something interesting to say next week.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe we can all have a good, fun discussion. But for now, it's goodbye time. Goodbye. See you next week.
Later.
Put the
Hey.
fin in the bin. 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 In the bin.